Hey, this is Ben Solomon, and welcome to this episode of the Techno Leadership Show. In this episode, I want to talk about burnout. It is an important thing that we need to speak about, especially in an era where businesses are always looking at cutting cost, which means we, the technology departments, tend to get saddled with a lot more responsibility, a lot more platforms and systems and everything to manage and support, while not having the right amount of team members to be able to support and the resources overall to support, be able to outsource or do whatever we can to get us to work effectively and give the best value possible back to the business. All of this comes back again to a sense of industrial age thinking, which is we are always optimizing for efficiency. And when they are optimizing for efficiency, they're looking at cutting costs, doing this, doing that, without understanding the first, second, third, fourth, fifth order consequences of every decision that is made. And you, as someone who is a tech manager or a tech exec, need to be able to understand the implications of everything that gets cut in the name of efficiency or cost cutting, because ultimately what does happen is it's gonna affect you and your functioning, and then the functioning of your team and how they are able to manage everything. It takes the number of hours or amount of effort that it takes to fix, to maintain, to manage systems and processes and everything. So understanding the implications of going from, let's say, for example, you have a outsource management team that monitors your infrastructure, but for cost reasons, they say, no, we can't fund that. Then if it comes onto your team, how is that going to affect your team? How is that going to affect the workloads of your team? Do we know what kinds of SLAs we can offer? How is that going to affect the customer experience? And how is it going to affect the overall productivity of the organization? There's significant amount of things that we need to look at. And if we don't manage this appropriately, it can lead to burnout for us. It can lead to burnout for our team, because they've gone from the same number of people in the team doing the same overall hours to having to support an extra function, which probably needs another person or two to manage, maintain, do all the other bits, just because the business decides that we are going to cut costs, and so we're going to cut something that's important. To do all this effectively, we as leaders need to understand the implications of everything that works under us. The implications of losing any one team member in our teams, any outsourcing contracts being brought in, and any other external buffers that we may have in our budgets, or in the kind of on-off contracting that we can push work out to, overflow work. All of these we need to understand the implications, because anytime there is a question about, hey, can we cut costs by taking this out, you need to have a very strong case. And the strong case is not just for one person in the organization. Rather, it is, you've got to consider the CEO. The CEO is looking at it from a strategic, visionary standpoint of how the business is going to run, how are they going to manage, and how are they going to get the outcomes that they're wanting to get. The CFO is going to look at it from the viewpoint of revenue and numbers. And for them, they're always looking at cutting the fat, so to speak. The end point of focusing just on efficiency means there is a very high likelihood that we are going to lose in effectiveness. So we have the role to ensure that we are always optimizing based on effectiveness and looking at what the implications would be if something becomes less effective because someone's trying to push for efficiency. Because effectiveness trumps efficiency any day of the week. If you and your team and your business can't be effective, no matter how much efficient you are, you're not going to survive. You can't go to zero and have an effective, profitable, revenue producing business. So you need to have effective systems, effective processes, effective platforms, all of that to support an effective business. So if they are saying, hey, we are going to see a drop in revenue, you need to understand, okay, if there is going to be a drop in revenue, does that mean we are going to have less staff in other departments? Are we going to have less systems to manage? Are we going to cut down on certain other aspects? Just going, now we're going to cut off outsourcing and bring everything in to be managed by the tech department internally could mean disaster in the form of, one, not having the expertise anymore, two, not having the resources overall, the number of people, number of man hours, number of the capabilities, all of that internally. That then affects the effectiveness of running the organization and everything that the organization needs from a technical standpoint. So these are all things that you've got to look at. And if you don't have a handle on this and you allow for others to dictate how your department needs to run based on what they don't understand, then you're going to put excess pressure on yourself, because someone's got to take on the extra responsibility. It'll be shared between you and the rest of your team. So it's going to be a endpoint where all of you are going to be burnt out. And when you burn out, it's not just the workplace that suffers. When you burn out, yes, the workplace loses you because you've got to rest, get yourself back to healthy space mentally and otherwise. But what else gets affected? Your family, your friends, everyone around you is going to be affected as well. And most of all, you are going to be affected, because when you're burnt out, it's a very dark place to be. You're not going to be able to be creative, you're not going to be able to be effective, and you, in most cases, when you're really burnt out, you can't even work. So think of the consequences of that. So you have to look at it from that perspective. And everything that you do, every project that you implement, every hire that you hire into your teams, every request for cutting costs that you have to look at from the overall perspective, and make sure that you are optimizing for effectiveness and ensuring that everyone is in an effective state to be able to work and contribute effectively, rather than just cutting costs and being efficient. Hopefully that helps you out. I wish you all the best in your journey as a tech professional, manager, and leader. If you like this episode, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button so that you're notified of future episodes as they are released. If you have any questions that you'd like for me to cover and answer, please do let me know in the comment section below. If you have any feedback or suggestions, again, please use the comment section below to let me know, so I can improve the way I serve you and give you the best possible value that I can. Look forward to talking to you in a future episode. Take care and have a great day.